Hey everybody. Um, following on from the really, really horrible murder of George Floyd in the US, I feel that it's important to have a discussion again around understanding use of force and grappling and why it's important in the self-defense context. Now, let me start with a disclaimer that obviously it's different when you're a police officer as opposed to a civilian. The requirements are different, what you need to know is different, your responsibilities are different, so on and so forth. And I do believe that what the police officer did was inexcusable, and I'm very glad that he's being charged. But from a civilian perspective, we see that this can happen as well, right? I mean, there was a case in Australia only 2 years ago where somebody caught a robber and tried to restrain him until the police got there, and same thing, the person died from positional asphyxia. And as a result, that father who was just trying to protect his household and his daughter is now in prison. Okay, so it is important that we understand these. Now, a couple of things are really important, right? If you are in a self-defense school or any martial arts school that claims to teach self-defense and they don't, A, teach you what use of force is, B, give you multiple use of force options for different situations, then they are setting you up to end up in a very bad place when you might have to face court for seriously hurting somebody. Now, whether you had intent to hurt somebody or not will obviously affect what you are charged with, but it doesn't change the fact that you might kill or hurt somebody. And even if you get off on all the charges, you still have to live with the trauma of having done something horrible to somebody, and that's not easy. Okay, that's one. Right? Moving on from that, the other thing you have to then consider is understanding grappling and pressure. Okay, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Wrestling, MMA, any of those disciplines can be really great for that. I'm not a huge fan of the traditional martial arts for that because I find that for the most part they don't actually train with resistance. But you have to understand what it's like to put pressure on somebody, what it's like to have somebody put pressure on you so that you can control the amount of pressure that you put, especially when you are adrenalized. Okay, you then also need to understand what positional asphyxia is, and how it can happen and how to make sure you mitigate that as much as possible. Okay, so use of force, grappling, and pressure. All these things are key if you're learning real self-defense that will A, keep you safe, and B, will keep you out of prison. Okay, more on that soon.